What's up, guys? It's Michael Ray. Welcome to Offstage America. We got my boy over here, my co-host Paul, and today our second guest ever. Me and this dude go way back to driving tour vans because that's all we had to drive around on, and just playing any place that we could. He's one of the first few people I met once I signed my record deal, my publishing deal, and everybody was kind of writing together. And I love his story. I love his heart, and the perseverance and the dog and the fight that stood when everything, literally the world stopped, and when most people would have stopped and let it build him. My boy Drew here pivoted and made it all happen and made history. But I'm gonna let him talk about it. Y'all, welcome Drew Baldridge to Offstage America. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Hey man, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man.
This is awesome. Man. Yeah,
you're our second guest, dude.
Hey,
Appreciate
second guest. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
How you been, dude?
Man, been good. We're just, kind of what we were talking about. Just had a last couple of weeks off the road, and last year was a crazy year for us. Very, very blessed, but also just kind of wild compared to what we've been to.
Because that was like your first full year of like truly seeing what somebody's daughter has done for you touring wise.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Like our first time in a bus, you know, and our first world of like being on big stages and in arenas and in amphitheaters and opening for other artists and tours. And we've never had that before. It's always just been like playing and touring in Sprinter vans and playing any show on that I could possible, playing people's backyards, whatever it took.
Dude, yeah, I want to get to the backyard thing at some point, because that was one of the most inspiring things during that time, dude. It was like world shut down, no one can play anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, what do I do?
Yeah, man, it was like my wife, I remember, was like, "Hey, we're living on credit cards," and we were just about to get married. We were getting. I knew I wanted to propose to her, but I didn't have any money. You know, I was broke, and I had this song called "Senior Year." I just lost my record deal. It was 2019, and I did this thing over 2020 where kids lost their senior year.
Yeah,
and my song "Senior Year" was already out, and the hook said, "Never thought it would disappear, senior year."
Right. Yeah.
So I had this idea. I was like, I'm just gonna post and just say, "Hey, class of 2020, I'm doing Zoom concerts. I'll play for anybody that wants one." And it turned into like 7 or 8 Zoom concerts a day from my living room couch. And then a couple of schools reached out and was like, "Hey, can you actually come to our school and play like graduation? We're going to do like a parade, drive through, all that stuff." And I was like, "Sure, yeah, I'll come." And so I started doing this tour of literally playing graduations, and I would have like a graduation August 18th in New York, and I would get online and I would look at other schools that had graduations August 17th, and I would just cold call school front offices, and I'd just be like, "Hey, I see your graduation is on August 17th. I got this song called Senior Year, and I'd just love to come play it for the kids."
I'm sure before you told them that, they were just like,
yeah. And a lot of them, were like, "No, you're not going to come here and be a weirdo." Like,
how do you know that? And what is your address?
Yeah.
We got to call somebody.
But some of them would be like, "Hey, that's actually our class song. Like, we would love that." And so I'd put this whole tour together, playing graduations and giving commencement speeches. And I remember after that kind of had its thing, my wife and me were on a walk, and she was like, "Yeah, that was really cool, but we're still broke." Like,
I'm glad you had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, like you really grew something. Can you maybe like we can take what you did and take it to the people and try to play some backyards and see if there's a way to actually pay for your expenses to go and do these things. And I just posted on social media, and in that time everybody was looking for music. We were all hungry for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just kind of went viral, and we ended up doing, I think over 400 people's backyards in 4 years.
Wow.
That's all I did. And I literally
I didn't realize it was that many.
Just accepted. I would say, message me, and I would get on my Instagram and I would route my own tour. I didn't have no booking agent, and I'd just tell them what we needed. I'd send it to my tour manager and be like, "Hey, call this person, tell them we're going to be there at this date." And
now, how did it start? Were you like, did you kind of like announce it? "Hey, I'll come and play your backyard"?
Yeah, I just literally jumped on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, and I was just like, "Hey, over COVID, I can't have I can't play shows. I lost my record label. I lost my manager. I lost my booking agent. I'm just looking to play music and get out. I'm playing people's backyards. If you want a show, if you love country music, just message me or comment, and we'll try to figure something out. And so I got all these messages, and I just started going through them and, routing the tour. I'd start on Saturdays, and I would find a West Coast, and I would find a Southeast, and then a Northeast, and then I would try to find other cities around it, and I would go through the comments and be like, oh, Virginia, hey, message me. Let's work something out. And so I just kind of routed that, and I created my own merch, called it the Baldridge and Bonfire Tour. And just literally, it was the coolest tour I ever did, and it just changed my perspective so much on why I was doing music.
Right.
Because I think when we move here, as you know, Michael, we can get lost real quick on everybody saying you need a radio hit. It's got to sound like this. You have a record label. You have all these people that are putting this pressure on you, your publishers. And it was finally a moment where nothing mattered other than people.
Right.
And you're in their yard, and they're telling you why these songs mean so much. And you're seeing the joy that you're literally putting on people's faces. And in a moment where I was done.
Yeah.
Like
dude.
I was, and it's emotional for me because I was over it.
Yeah.
Like I was beat up. I was spit out by Nashville.
Yeah, man.
I was trying to get record deal. Nobody would sign me. I've been in the town for 10 years, and I had failed singles. And it finally just reminded me, I'm doing this for people. It's not for radio hits. It's not for famous or whatever you want to call it. It's put a smile on people's faces, make them feel something, bring music. And that really revived me in music, and I needed it in my soul. Yeah, I fell in love with music again. It wasn't just...
It wasn't a job at that point.
It wasn't a job.
You felt purpose with it.
I felt like a ministry, you know, and it just changed the world for me of happiness of music again.
Yeah. Well, and for you, dude, it's like during that time, one, again, like I said, like talk about most people that have been fighting the fight, always being the guy that all of us was rooting behind. You know what I mean? Like Drew's the most solid stand-up guy. He's been the same guy since we met at This Music, as you know what I mean,
thanks,
throughout
buddy.
all the years, and not afraid to work, not afraid to cold call high schools, dude. You know what I mean? Like I can tell you right now, like my manager would have had to call me like 4 or 5 times. Like, bro, you still haven't called the high school shit, you know? But because there is that's vulnerability, dude. Like you're putting yourself out there in a time where the world shut down. But what's cool about it? Here's what I don't think is the inspiration that you gave to all of us.
Oh man,
you know what I mean? Like so, and I've always wanted to tell you that is like while you're out there doing this, and what some people don't know is, dude, on social media we're comparing real to highlight reel, you know?
Always.
And when you're in the music industry and you're trying to just grind it out, dude, it seems like it's real fun in public. There's a lot of lonely times. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
because
leaving. There's a lot of, you're in your own little bubble, right? And you're going, dude, yeah, okay, this is cool, but is this getting anywhere? Like, then you go on social media and, you know, you see everybody else and you're like, well, what the hell am I doing, man? I'm out here grinding. When you put your nose to the ground, so dude, we're all watching you play these bonfires, bro. And Drew's like, I'll do it. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, I don't care what it takes to get there.
And it was inspiring, man. It's something that has really, honestly, inspired me in this last year of, you know, out of Warner, you know, this whole rebuild process, dude. It was I did pull a lot from your story, man, of like the persistence and the not give up, because I will get my own way. I'll get my own head, you know, be like, I'm probably going to say no anyway. We'll just do it this way or whatever.
We all do.
And I think during that time, what was cool for you too is those seniors. My oldest nephew was one of those seniors that his senior year was taken. You know, you put a song to a time where nobody will forget, but definitely those seniors of that high school, and they'll tie themselves to that forever. And then while you're building these backyard shows, you're connecting with fans who know Drew. You know what I mean?
And that's what's been the coolest thing is like this year, finally, after, you know, some of these backyards I've been playing since 2020, 21, 22, 23. I even went back to some of them, you know, played some more. And then, you know, last year, 2025, after we had lucky success, like very blessed, God answered prayers of She's Somebody's Daughter, which is a whole other story. But being on tours this year for the first time and going out with Cody Johnson and Bailey Zimmerman And
Laney
looking,
Wilson. I mean, dude, it was like Drew. Drew was out. You'd see Drew. He'd be huffing it in the Sprinter van, driving it. You know what I mean? Whatever he had to do. And next, it's like, hey man, I got my first year of tours. We're like, oh cool. And it's like Cody Johnson, Jelly Roll, Laney. It was all
crazy.
It had to be crazy for you, dude, because it was
it was all I dreamed of.
Yeah.
You know, and to
it
think
goes to show too, right? Like if you do the crazy thing and people tell you you're crazy or whatever, like the crazy thing pays off.
Absolutely.
Because if nobody else is doing it, you are in a lane that is isolated. Nobody's there to bump you.
Yeah.
Well, if you occupy it, this is what happens.
Well, that's where I got to at, 2021. Me and my wife got married, and I had this song called She's Somebody's Daughter. And I posted it on TikTok, and I was like, if you guys like it, we'll put it out. And it went viral. And I remember getting a lot of calls from LA record labels, and they'd be like, we love this. We see your numbers, blah, blah, blah. And then we'd get to Nashville, and every record label in Nashville would just shut it down. They'd be like, oh, we know Drew. Drew's been here for 10 years. Like, good dude, great guy.
Yeah.
But like, he's tried.
Yep.
We want the new shiny thing. Like, this has not worked for Drew yet.
Especially in that time of the TikTok movement.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Now all these new people
were out of nowhere. A&Rs were always looking at us. I was like,
Yep.
dude, I'm doing the numbers that all these kids are doing.
Yep.
Pay attention to this.
Wow, yeah, that's interesting.
And so it got to the point where I put this song out, going viral, very blessed that I own the master of this song, and it was streaming, and I couldn't get anybody to pay attention. And I remember I had a record label, small record label in Nashville called Riser House.
Mm-hmm.
And 2022, I decided I want to make an album independently, and I'm going to put She's Somebody's Daughter on it. And I made this album. I called Riser House, who was very kind to me, and I just said, hey, I want to make this album. Can I give you a few points to help push this to streaming platforms and help get some playlists? And they're like, sure. And September of 22, I do it. I make the record. They help me push some things. We get some good numbers. And the start of 2023 in January, I get a call, and they're like, come in the office. And I'm thinking, I'm going to radio again. I did it.
Adrian, we did it.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to radio. I'm going to be on Rise. Like, whatever it takes. I don't care who takes me to radio. I'm going, baby.
Yeah, just tell the car to get in.
Yeah, it's doing the things. And I go in, and they sit down at a meeting, a circle table, and the first things out of their mouth is like, Drew, we don't have room for you.
Oh, God.
And I remember just...
What a punch to the gut.
Starting to tear up again of just like, well, I've been told no by now by every record. I remember going out in my car and calling my wife and just crying. Be like, every record label's told me no, but I still believe in this song. Yeah. And everybody, I mean, publishers call me, it's like, when are you going to stop posting that song, move on? Maybe it's time to move on from it. And I was like, guys, every time I post it, it gets hundreds of thousands of views.
Dude, it was everywhere, man. Every time I'd open up my TikTok, dude, there was somebody with that song behind it.
And finally, I remember talking to a radio friend named Tim Richards.
Oh, yeah.
You know Tim.
Man. Tim's one of the best.
And he was like, what are you doing? And I said, I got this song. He's like, I said, I just need a record label. I know this is a hit. He's like, why do you need a record label? Why don't you just, you said, every radio guy in town, around the country, just do it yourself. Hire your own staff. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, can I do that?
Yeah.
And
man,
can I afford that? And how do I do that? And I remember just sitting back and I was like, you know what? I'm going to call some radio friends. And I started with all the tops. And I was like, am I crazy? And they're like, you're crazy. But we know the song and we like it. Like, we think there's potential.
That's awesome, man.
And at that time, record labels were really making shifts and they were firing a lot of promo staff. And so I just asked radio friends, I was like, who's your favorite person to work with that's out of a job? And I got their number, and I would just cold call these reps, and I'd be like, hey, start my own thing, got this song, this is what I can pay you. Are you in?
Dude. That's awesome.
And they were like, yeah. And so we set our own ad date. I ran my own promo team. We hired 5 people and went after it. And I remember our first week, we got 18 ads of August of 23. And that whole time, I remember people calling me, it's like, what are you doing? You're wasting your money. You're wasting your time. This has never been done before. This is never going to work. And I was like, look, I have no other shot.
Right.
Every record label in Nashville has said no to me. But I know this song is special. If they play it, it'll work. And I remember some radio stations calling me like, Drew, Dallas, perfect example, Mike Preston. Probably never going to play this song, Drew. It's a ballad. You're not at Sony.
Right.
You're not at any major. And I got to the point finally, and Tim brought up, he's like, why don't we just have him test it with no plays? put it in research. And we got top 40.
Wow.
And he still wasn't playing it. And it was, I'm talking 7 months in, bro. I am 7 months into this. Up at 3 a.m., I got a 6-month-old baby. How am I paying for this staff? Praying to God every night, let the song stream enough to pay people.
Yeah.
And that I can just keep the trains on the track. And I remember that being a big moment where he's like, finally, I'll put it in testing. And because I was like, what's it hurt? If it tests the worst, you're not going to play it anyway.
Right, yeah. It doesn't hurt anything.
And he tests and he calls me. He's like, it's a fluke. So what do you mean it's a fluke? He said, I got to retest. It tested too high. I've never played a song and never had it test this high, not playing.
That wasn't already playing
That
on
wasn't
radio.
already playing on radio.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. So this was another 2 weeks. He calls back and he was like, Drew, it's the number 2 song in our market with no place.
That's God.
And I was
That's
like,
amazing,
were you going to play it now? And he's like,
yeah.
we're moving it directly to medium rotation. And it was just like, because nobody understood at that time how big social media has gotten with music. And they were all like streams or like this record label, that record label. I was like, look, all that matters is it's being heard, and it's been heard over 1 billion times on this app. If you just give it a chance and play it, people will like it. And somehow by the grace of God, it took us a year, but we worked it to number 1 with a lot of tears. And, first nobody believed in it, and we got top 10, and it was really cool to have the town rally behind us and be like, I was getting calls from friends and be like, radio friends, other record labels call me, be like, we're going to get out of your way. Heads of companies.
That's
like,
incredible.
We got you. We're going to make sure that you get your hit. You've put your whole life in this, and you changed our business to where now there's it's given, I didn't know in that moment.
Low Cash.
Craig Campbell.
Dude, again, bro, when you were top 5, I remember like backstage of places, like us talking about, bro, I think Drew might do this thing, bro. like all of us, because as an artist, you don't really own, like you're not owning your masters and signing a record deal.
I've learned so much
especially
in the last month just talking to him about this.
Especially at that time, right? No, every artist is different. I don't want to say everybody, because people do different, but like odds of being a brand new artist, bro, and getting a record deal and not being somebody that, like a jelly roll that blew up, as that was happening, right? You're not owning your masters. It's not happening.
Yeah, you're not.
So as an artist, that's like, especially in country music, right at that point, it was like, dude, that never happened. In the history of country music, that has never, ever happened. But an artist independently owned and worked his own song all the way up to number 1.
Yeah, especially an artist first number 1.
First number 1. Yeah, it was like, dude, all of us were just like, let's fucking go, Drew.
Man.
Everybody,
thanks, dude.
It did feel like, it felt, you could feel that rally behind you, even just kind of in the presence of it. You know what I mean? Like, it was like all of us were like, let's go, Drew. Stick it to him. You know what I mean? Show him, Drew. Show him how we do it.
But it also, like what you were saying a little bit too, is like, do the crazy thing, and it was, for me, it was so lonely up until we got to that moment when we, we're rallying around. I remember being top 30 and people coming up to me and being like, dude, I know I heard through the grapevine that record label's not going to let you get in. And I'm like, they don't have any, it's radio.
Yeah.
They have the say. If they like it, they're going to play it. And then I started getting other record reps saying that, like, from other record labels, because I was going out and doing radio shows alone, not taking any staff. I was my own rep. And I would fly in and across the desk have meetings with radio guys and just be like, dude, hey, bro, why are you not playing this?
What was that one radio show we did? You played it and you were playing the after thing, and we all came to that bar. Remember?
That was at Wilkes-Barre.
Yes. And we go in there, and I'm like, hey, Drew, what do you do? He's like, man, I'm going to play this after. I'm like, hell yeah, we'll all show up. So we all go and hang out, and I'm like, what are you doing tomorrow? He's like, oh, dude, I got, and it's like midnight, by the way. Drew's like, yeah, dude, I got to be up at 3:30. We got to go. I got to go work this song wherever you were going. And I'm like, oh, you're meeting a rep? And he's like, no, man, it's just me. Like, I had to have a dinner meeting tonight before. I'm like, holy cow, dude. But the song had started to work, though, right at that point.
Just at that point. Yeah, and it was a lonely road to get top 50. I think we were 6 months before top 50, and I remember having moments of almost pulling it because here I am paying thousands of dollars a month and trying to get people to buy in and, running it alone, no manager, no direction, right? Nobody running this charge other than me being like, call that guy. I think he might, you know, and my record reps riding around like, we're trying. I'm like, all right, let's try it again. And so at that point, it just started like finally connecting where radio guys were getting some research and like, hey, this could actually work. And it just, I learned a lot. I was very blessed in this last year being able to, you know, finally see the fruits of that and just being like, wow, I see people in the front row with backyard shirts on.
Yeah.
And that was the coolest moment, knowing like you were there when nobody was, when nobody gave a crap.
Bro, that's what I was going to say, dude. You imagine like being this fan, right, of country music, right? And this guy hits you up and you're like, you know what? Yeah, dude, we go to concerts and that ended. You know, what are we going to do? Well, dude, let's scrape some money together. Well, we got a nice backyard. Let's throw a little backyard in there, you know? Drew comes in, and then a year later, you go, hey, I got these Cody Johnson tickets. You're not going to believe who's direct support for him. You know, that dude who came, and then that's an awesome. So no fan, you know, fans don't really get that experience. You got to buy a VIP ticket to a show, but then you're kind of cattle rushed in there. You know, it's like that you being able to build, like I said before, man, that solid fan base of like going out shaking hands. You know what I mean? And
they'll listen to everything now that you put out.
Yeah, man.
And that's what's been most special. And I even told my team the other day, I was like, dude, I want to do some more backyards. Yeah. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I was like, I don't know. I even posted the other day, I was like, should we do it? And my manager hit me up, was like, you getting antsy, bro, or what? And I was like, no, that was fun for me. Yeah, that was real life why we do this for me. And, you know, it allowed us to put a little bit of money in our pocket and sell some merch, but it was like, now it's not about that. It was just about like, you know, actually connecting and being with people and being face to face and not be like, oh, I'm too good for that or whatever. I loved it so much.
Staying true to like what got you there.
Yeah, you know, man. And you know, that whole journey of daughter, one of the coolest things, and just like you said, Michael, is when we got top 20 and I started having other buddies reach out and being like, bro, I'm out of a deal, or, you know, my company hasn't put a single out on me in a while, and what you did inspired me to keep going, or inspired me to try this myself. And dude, that lit me up. Yeah. Cause I remember somebody calling me that for the first time and crying with them on the phone. I was like, I had no idea you were going through that too.
Yeah,
like,
man.
I felt so eye-open that we all struggle in this.
Yeah.
And, you know, I felt so isolated as an artist. We don't talk enough together.
I was just about to say that.
We don't call each other and say like, bro, I posted that highlight reel on my Instagram, but I'm rough. I need to talk to somebody, because our job is very interesting. It's not like you can call somebody and be like, you know, I hate the boss. I hate working this coworker of a pipeline. We're surrounded by band guys that work for us.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And,
dude, yeah.
And so to have another connection with an artist and just be like, bro, I'm struggling. Be like, well, I'm struggling too.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head on that. That's why I love, you know, Al Andrews and Miles.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Chris Lacey set me up with Al years ago, and then Tyler Hubbard and all them. They started a really good group, you know. Yeah. And dude, it was so important, because you really don't know what was cool about that is you see people at different levels, right? Where it's like you got some people that might just move to town, right? Yeah. And then just like you and I did at some point, right? We looked up at the people that were on the radio and whatever, and you get to know those people, but you're like, well, I don't want them to know I don't have it together, or I don't, you know what I mean, or whatever. Yeah. But then when you get to know these guys and these girls on a friend level, you realize, man, that we all have our struggles, right? They might be in front of a bigger crowd, but they still got a brain and a heart and a soul, and, you know, they got a family they miss. They're trying to fight for that spot too, just like we are, you know, just like anybody is throughout that ladder. And it's so important, because there's things that, you know, I'm still good friends with a lot of buddies that I grew up with. UPS delivery guy. He oddly looks like the third child. I don't know if you talked about that or not.
I guarantee you it's because my wife just got home.
Oh, so it's the ring camera.
Yeah, I'm going to turn that off, because now it's
what toxic masculinity, dude.
Sorry. Just making sure.
Dude,
making sure she's there.
Come home, dude. Like, you gotta get buzzed by it, you know?
Oh, no, it's the ring camera. It only picks up people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the UPS driver goes through the window. Huh?
There's one on that one.
Yeah. we've took a turn. But yeah, man, that what were we just talking about? That
No, everybody does have a heart and a soul.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, man, and everybody's climbing that ladder, you know. When we get to talk, that's what I was saying. Like, I'm good buddies with, you know, still my boys that I grew up with. You know, all my family, a lot of my family, they're blue collar, hard working, small town people that were doing a lot of the same jobs that like our grandparents taught them to do, right?
Yeah.
And there's things that yes we can relate to on stuff, but then there's some stuff that like if you have a regular 9-to-5 job,
Yeah.
you probably aren't going to understand some of the things that are the struggle of our world and vice versa on their end.
Yeah,
you know?
I think just every, I put this a lot to other entrepreneurs. I remember when I was going through this, it was the hardest time of my life, and I was going, just barely staying afloat, and I was stressed out to the max. I had this girl, I just married. We had a baby. I'm doing all this. And I remember going into a China restaurant, and I was waiting to pick up food for us. And I was sitting at the bar, and I looked back at the guy flipping the orange chicken, and he had his headphones in, and he was happy. Yeah. And he was back there flipping his orange chicken, man. And I remember just like being like, dang.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he is happy, but he gets to shut this off when he leaves.
Right. Right.
He's going home and he's not thinking about this job.
Yep.
He is not thinking, this is his paycheck. He knows it's coming.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know when I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
But I can't shut it off. Yeah. This is the dream. This is the passion. Yeah. Yes, my hobby is my paycheck, and I freaking love it, and I can't shut it off.
I bet holding that little baby sometimes just hits you hard, too. Like, am I going to fail this thing?
Am I going to fail him?
I mean, as a dad, like, I know exactly, like, that not just what you're going through as, like, an artist and stuff. As a dad, like, that's a very lonely place. When you know that, but you can't, because you also know that if you lose it as a man, as a husband, and a father, like, you got to keep the house stable. Like, you got to be the rock. But in those silent moments, man, like, I get it. Like,
dude,
so when
it would
your
be
emotion, like, I'm getting emotional too, because I know that weight you carry, and it's heavy.
And you can't do it, you don't want to do it in front of your wife.
No.
So it'd be 3 a.m., they'd be sleeping, and I'd get up and walk out of the room, and I'd go down to the kitchen and just, like, pace back and forth, and, like, what am I doing? Like, crying to myself, writing in my notes, like, ideas, and then I'd get a text from Katie's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm having a rough time.
Yeah.
Like, I am, and she would come down, and she would just be like, I'll be like, did I make a mistake? Mm-hmm. I'm spending enough money that we could have put him in college.
Right.
What are we doing here? And she would always just be like, I believe in you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Always, even when it was hard, and she would always say, remember why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Remember why this song is bigger than you. It's for women. It's for knowing their worth. Yeah, it's not just some song that's just out there. Like, you're doing this for a purpose, and remember that why. And that has always just stuck with me of just, I think too, it's having an awesome person by your side.
So important, man.
Is so important, and a spouse, to have somebody that believes in you on this journey of, if you're starting a podcast, if you're whatever dreamer is that you're doing out there, I mean, all in life, but to have somebody that supports your journey with you is so valuable.
Well, especially in those times, like you were saying, man, no matter what you're doing as an entrepreneur, it's like, as an artist, you are an entrepreneur for your business, and it all hinges on you, And to have those moments where you've been told no by everybody, you feel like nobody's waving the flag to go, hey, man, I got you. But when you got a partner like Katie is for you and has been for you, for all these years, we've been like, no, you got this. Because as a man, you only need that one person.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need that one person that reminds you of that why. And what happens in life, I feel like we all start losing grip of the why, of why you started any of it, right?
Yeah.
Because, yes, our hobbies are our jobs. Man, we're the most luckiest people on the face of the planet. We get to be on radio, dude. We get to tour. We get to bring joy to people's lives and all this. Throughout that time, it does have his moments where it's a job. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I do not want to go do whatever this is, or all I want to do is throw this phone in a river, and go grab my family and go to a cabin, and we'll pop up in a few months. I
mean, we still talk about it all the time of like what our life would look like if we just went and lived in the woods. Like, what would our life look like to raise my kid like I was raised? And I still struggle with that from time to time, and knowing that, ball games are going to look different.
Yeah.
With me compared to what my dad was. And, I think, but there's that passion. I always tell Katie of like, but he gets to see his dad chase his dream.
Yep.
He gets to see that chances can win. Yep. Chances can happen, and go be a dreamer, whatever it is you want to do in this life, because you only get one of them.
That's it, man.
And go chase that, and know that, hey, you're going to be the best dad and be there when you can, but also, hey, our son Lyric, you can be a dreamer too.
Yeah, man. Well, what's good is your strong faith, your strong bond with your family, you know, and how you grew up. That stays with you no matter how many plaques are on the wall. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how many tickets are being sold, no matter how many semi-trucks say Drew Baldridge on the side of it, you know what I mean? You're crushing down the road, that foundation. And that's what, on top of this, dude, this thing that your son and both your sons, you got another boy,
on the way.
In a couple months.
I ain't got 3 like this feller, but
I got 2 girls. So.
Oh man, yeah.
Keep hanging around him, dude. You have a third one soon. He's
She'll
fertile.
throw the pregnancy test at you too, just like me.
Yeah.
It was your fault.
Yeah. From what I heard, they're not as gentle with the third one. Surprise.
The third time is not the charm, guys.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But for your sons, dude, it's like, you not only did you go, hey man, you know, here's these hometown values that I have, right? But also you give them an ability to look at their dad and go, dude, not only did my dad never give up, he broke history. You know what I mean? And that is something my buddy Todd, who's a videographer, photographer, our buddy Tim Montana found him. The dude's incredible, right? And he was always doing heavy machinery, you know, driving big tractors and stuff. He's this great talent. Well, Tim found him, and then him and I, you know, he's done stuff for me, done stuff for Tim.
That's awesome.
And his goal was to get him out. I'm like, dude, this dude's too good. You know what I mean? He's too good to be driving, you know, backhoes and trucks and all that stuff. And dude, this year, man, now, you know, majority thanks to Tim and Tim bringing him on the road with him, dude. Now he's doing like all Billy Gibbons socials. He's doing all Charlie Sheen socials. And like, if he hasn't already, like, this is the year where he don't have to do that job anymore.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And so it's those little stories, man, that like I told him that about his kid, dude. I was like, bro, your son, dude. You know what I mean? Like, saw you never quit in a time where, dude, our attention spans are 8 seconds. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, if something's hard, give up. You know, like,
move on.
Yeah, move on. Don't worry about it. But there's something too when you're growing a business, and I'm sure throughout this whole journey, you've met a lot of entrepreneurs that have been in that position.
Yeah.
Where those dudes have been told no 100 times more. They said yes, but they fight for the one yes. And
They fight for the one
I'll build
yes.
on that one, you know. And you might get 20 more, you know, but it's a little bit of that. It was the ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? When you're like, nothing else works, what do I got to lose, dude?
Well, that's what it was. And when we got like top 20, top 30, when somebody called, and I think it was the guy that watches the chart all the time. What's his name? He posts about it all. Is it Chris?
Chris is his first name.
Dadgummit. When he kind of let me know, it was like, you know, nobody's done this before, right? Like, as their first number one. I think like Garth Brooks started his own record company and had with Pearl or whatever and had that. But like, nobody's done it as their first number one, independent artist, all those things. And that's when it hit me. I was like, if I would have known that, I would have not started. I would have not tried. You know, like, this has freaking never been done before.
Don't tell me this.
Don't tell me this now, bro.
I thought it was
now,
actually
Chris.
doing something possible.
Yeah, at the number one party when it's all
like,
done. Yeah.
I thought this had a chance.
He's like, don't tell my wife.
Yeah. Like, I thought this was like been tried before, you know, but when it started happening, I was like, man, this has never been done. That if I would have known that, ignorance is such bliss of like, go try it. And sometimes not knowing everything actually helps you in the end. And you learn as you go.
Man. Yeah. Adrena helps me push me in that direction because I'll get in my own head and talk myself out of everything. You know? Like, I'll start with this great thing about it. That'd be awesome. And then within an hour, I'm like, I've already thought of all the reasons it's probably not, you know, and I'm like, oh, well, no, this seems pretty easy. You know, but to step out of that comfort zone, dude, that's where you grow, you know, in life, you know, with God, it's like, you know, when he knocks you down, we were talking that with Grace and Russell was like, dude, sometimes like God has a plan and good for you, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes what you think is good for you is not the good that God wants for you.
God
It's
wants
like,
for you.
how many times of that journey, of Drew's journey, you know, you look back at that kid and that kid would have done anything, you know.
Totally.
But if you would have been able to go back to him and go, hey, buddy, listen, this is crazy, right? But hold off for 5 more years, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
that's so true. And I tell people that all the time because in those moments of losing the manager and the record deal and thinking my life was over and being like, God, I mean, I had some real moments of talking to God. I'd be like, should I just give up?
Yeah,
like,
man.
I remember specifically one time, like, I need a sign right now.
Yeah.
I am done.
Yep.
I'm hanging it up. And if this is, and I was crying on a couch and I'll never forget it in my old apartment. And I was like, if you don't, I need a sign. If you need me to keep going, I need a sign.
Yeah.
Like right now. And it wasn't, I'm talking 30 seconds. I get a text from a radio guy out of the blue that I haven't heard from in years. It was Dusty in St. Louis.
Oh yeah. Oh, Dusty's
And
the man.
he was just
Great
like,
bourbon too. He's got a lot of good bourbon.
Drew, I haven't heard from you in a while. I just want to tell you, dude, you're awesome. Like, keep going. Don't give up. And all these things.
Just a random text. Wow.
Text. And
that cool moment, but also like, all right, I'm done testing you for
I'm
5
done
minutes.
testing you. I'm done testing you guys. But it was in that too of like looking back through this last year of like all these amazing things I got to do. Wouldn't have happened without losing my record company, being on a record label that we struggled to get airplay, and I had to meet all the radio guys. Like, why is that? Play in these people's backyards, all these struggles and all this like time of patience. I now look back and I'm like, I see why.
Yeah, man.
I wouldn't be in this moment of having, now we have our record label, which we've been able to help other artists get airplay, and like that wouldn't have happened. And like even down to other artists saying, hey, your story inspired me.
Yeah.
Maybe God needed me to inspire somebody that's out there right now that needed another song.
To say that,
you know,
man. Like, you don't have no idea. It's the crazy part of music, and like from an artist standpoint, right? You can look and you can see numbers and you can see streams, right? You go, oh, cool, right? 20 million people have connected with this song or whatever, right? But with that, what you don't get to see a lot until you meet the fans, till you do the backyards, till you do these things, is the connection that there's some that this song changed their life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, this person was out of those 20 million, they're 5 million of the players,
totally. Yeah.
And you don't understand like the people that some songs that might not even be like a motivating type song, but they connect to it, right? And it makes them go chase that. And your story, man, with artists, with everybody, man, it gives people that hope, of like
thanks,
when the cards are thrown at you, dude, and it is weird, dude. Like, I mean, coming out of the Indigo, with Warner, it was like you think about it, you talk about it, and it's kind of like, all right, now I'm free. Oh,
now
shit.
what do I do?
Yeah, what do I do? You know? And then
had all these people do something for me.
Yeah, man. And like we were just talking about, right? You start having now all of a sudden that first album that you made, right? Well, now he's having to pick a second. He's having to do a second album, right? After touring, probably the hardest year of touring. I mean, the biggest year of touring, but it comes with a lot, with a family, with a lot of changes. But now you have all these other opinions around you, so it kind of it's a lot, man, that comes to it. But you also get used to having those opinions after a while, so now you're like, my manager Alan's like, hey, dude, like, we're ready to rock, and so am I. But then there's that little
I don't have people to bounce off of.
I'm like, okay, well, is this good? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like,
I think it is. I like it.
It's good. I don't know, dude. Do I suck? Do I gotta go home? I don't know. I'll start a podcast. No, I don't know, dude. I'm spiraling.
And here we are.
We
talked about this, right? Like on amongst ourselves, but also in like one of our first episodes. Like every failure has led you to like this room, right? And that's like a cool thing, right? And people don't look at it that way, right? Like every failure I've ever had has now put me in this position.
That's so real.
And now there's successes in there also, but there were failures that made successes happen, right? And it's hard in the middle of the failure. And I'm sure, like, listen, I have a wife too. I'm sure there was moments where it was not fun. But it's in that moment, like when you said you need that one person, and it's uncanny how they can go when you're about to lose it and you've kept it all together, how they say the thing, and you're just like, where did that come from when you were riding my ass for the last one?
No, but that's so true. And I think like you said, along your journey, the failures really point your star where you should go. You don't know until you try. You don't know. Go over here, try this. Oh, that sucked.
Yeah.
But I learned this from that moment. I'm never going to do that again.
100%.
And then you can help other people along their journeys and be like, hey, I tried that. That sucks, bro.
Which,
maybe you don't do that.
Comes by very fast in Nashville, dude. Like, because you're on the road, and you're like, thank God we're like having hits on radio, we're touring, doing all stuff, and all of a sudden, like, 5 years goes by really quick, right?
So quick.
5 years, if you're a 15-year-old at a Michael Ray show, 5 years later, and you move to Nashville, and now you're like, hey, dude, here's my wife. You're my first concert. And I'm like, oh, it's happened. Like, I didn't think it was going to happen this fast.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, you're like, wait, Hannah, how old are you? I'm 21, man. Just got married, moved to Nashville. I'm like, you were 15 when you came there? It's like, yeah.
You're like, dang,
I didn't think this was going to be for another, like, 20 years. You know what I mean? I didn't think that would be, but it goes by fast. I can't imagine how fast it goes by balancing, like, the little kid, because
we met 5 years ago.
I know.
Which is also crazy.
Yeah. It goes by quick.
Yeah.
Man.
It does. And I think that's one thing, that life goes by fast. And one thing I've learned is you just got to enjoy the ride. No matter the stresses. I mean, we got one of these things, and we're blessed that, we get to be on this podcast, and hopefully there's people out there listening, and I hope that they are blessed in their life, and you only get one of these and enjoy it.
Amen, buddy.
Because it's, I'm watching my little boy turn 3 this past month, and I was like, how did that happen?
You'll be 6 before you know it.
And you see it so much quicker in your kids compared to like when you're just cooking and you're doing your thing.
That's what I'm learning, like with Kira, with the Dream Star. Like all my stuff is out here on the East Coast, and they're out, so we're not always together, Yeah. Sometimes I'm out there for a couple of days, sometimes I might not be out there for a couple months,
Yeah.
But it's like Kira's 9, right, about to turn 10, and like she was like looked like this little 8-year-old kid, you know what I mean, who was making me listen to poop songs on an iPad for 3 hours, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember like Saturday nights, like we were driving, I'm like, man, my Saturdays have really changed this year. I was like, yeah, I'll take some time off the road and go hunting, and I'm listening to poop in my fingernails, with this kid singing it in the background, But she's my dog, though. I love her. But it's crazy, man. It's like you go for a couple months, and all of a sudden she's, almost my height. I have a pinched nerve from throwing her and her cousins because I thought they were about the same size as the last year Christmas. They're not.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm in my 30s. So, I was like,
how quick that happens. You're like, dang,
walking around
where'd
like
that go?
Hunchback. But you were talking about helping other artists. I want to shine light on the other projects that you've been working on, really helping other artists.
Well, thank you for that.
Because I know you had Tough People. That was your second single, right?
So that was our second single. Yeah, we got that top 10, which was awesome. And then, in the last year, we had Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll. We got to work their single called Hard Fought Hallelujah.
Yeah, huge song.
Broke top 25 with that. What a blessing to,
with that radio team.
At Country, with my radio team. Yeah. And now we have a new artist named Julia Cole, who's also been in Nashville forever. And now we've worked her up to almost 60 stations. And we're about to break into the 50s with her. And that's just super
exciting.
exciting.
That Folds event?
It was, yeah. So when I called Drew, we were catching up.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, Julia's been one of those, it's one of those artists, man, that she's been around this town for a while. She's an incredible singer. Great songs, you know what I mean? Like always been a super nice.
Did she post like the training video for the softball game?
Yeah, she was a big volleyball player, so sports.
Yeah, and like posted like a training for like the Folds thing, and I saw. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, she's just been somebody that's she's been grinding at it for years, man, and so and to get 60 ads. It's hard. That's hard to do, bro. Like that's hard for established artists to get that.
You
know what I mean?
And so to see our little label being able to help other artists now, and it was so powerful to me to be like, okay, I started this record label. I remember when we got there and we got the deal with BMG, and everybody's like, you don't need to keep this staff. Like, why are you funding these people? And I was like, well, they got me here.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. I don't know what this staff is going to do. They can also, and I remember at BMG and call, and I was like, hey, I know you got a radio team, but can my team just help? And they're like, we don't need them to have hits, but like if you want to pay them, you could pay them. Yeah. And I was like, well, I have to. Yeah. Like we had a number one together. I don't know what they're going to do. We're just going to keep them on. Maybe we'll bring somebody else on. I remember getting the message from Brandon's management and being like, hey, we want to work a single. And I being like, what a God prayer that the first single we get to work outside of mine is called Hard Fought Hallelujah.
Amen, dude.
And we get to take that song.
I didn't put that together until right then,
to country radio.
Yeah.
And the amount of, millions of people that have heard this now on country radio is astounding.
Oh, dude, I mean, he's singing it. They're singing it in football stadiums.
Well, but you also took the people that bet on you, and I get think about their story too. Like they bet on you at a time where they probably thought it was crazy, but they didn't have.
Everybody else told them they were crazy
bet
too.
On you, and now look where they're at. Like your decision, not change lives, change your life, your family, but you've probably changed dozens now of other people's families that are now thriving because of that.
Well, I like it never really hit me. I was so alone for so long of backyards, no manager, no everything, and we were cutting this new music and. I was in the studio, and it was like the last song we were on, and I was singing the vocal, and I looked around, and I had a producer. I had 3 managers behind me. I had my publisher, two publishers over here. I had who else was there? Was like the whole team, right? And there was like 15 people in there, and I was like, guys, I got to go, and I just walked out, and everybody's like, bro, you good? And I was like. I just need a second. Mm-hmm. And I just went in my truck and I called Katie and I was like, so many people counting on us. I have so many lives now that are, and I told my manager the next day, he was like, you good? And I was like, dude, Like, I love that your belief in me, but I take that very seriously of like, you are sacrificing your life for my family and me. And it's like, I've never had this many people around me of, you know, record label, all these people calling you that are there for just me.
Just you. Yep.
And I just had a moment, like a panic attack of like, if this doesn't work, I'm letting all these people down. Because when I saw Daughter work, I saw all the people, like my bass player, Devin, who you probably met,
dude, I love
been with me for 12 years.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's been with you since we were all in vans.
Yeah, all in vans. And this year I got to put him on salary, and we got to have that moment. We got to play stages that we dreamed of playing and have, like, playing Bridgestone together, me and him on stage, arm in arm, be like,
that's awesome, man.
Hey, we did this.
Yeah.
We've been backyards, and you were with me and all this. And now it's like this weight of, I got to keep this. Yeah, and man. I got to grow this because we have these people that are counting on us for their livelihood. They're having kids.
And it's a crazy thing, man, because I remember that. I remember all of a sudden, you know, before it was me and my guys, and kind of similar thing, my guys moved from Florida, you know, with me.
For you.
Yeah. And then they, you know, and then some came and gone, and then, but throughout the years, you're adding new people. All of a sudden, now you have to have a production manager. Now you have a monitor guy. Now you got a stage guy. Now you got your drummer. Your tour has gotten too big, so now he can't do tour managing and drumming. You know, so
totally.
Now you gotta find another guy, and you're just like, now before you know it, I remember one time, like, we might have been on Darius's tour, one of the tour, Old Dominion or something. I'm like, seeing all these road cases come through, like my name on it and stuff, and then my band's on there doing their thing. You know, you become a well-oiled machine out there, right? Even though it's every day is pretty much organized chaos, you know. But like, you get your part, especially on a tour. You know, you're kind of. I'm watching this shit. I'm going, when did we become a band? You know what I mean? Wait a minute, dude. And it was like 4 years in.
Why is my name on all this shit?
I paid for all
of
it.
Where did all of this? Like, wait a minute.
We do not have enough money for this.
We do not have enough money for this.
He's like looking at the PNC app, like, what the hell?
Yeah. My business manager's like, you're just now realizing.
You are broke still. Yeah, this is actually, you're losing money tonight.
That's why you're on these tours, buddy. You gotta go, man. But yeah, it is a weird thing, man. I think that one thing for me as an artist, I had to really learn, because growing up, my family was the blue collar, hard work first responders. You know, the guys that they tell you a job's going to get done, you ain't even got to go look at it. You know,
totally.
But there wasn't a lot of people that were owning and running businesses, so I didn't really see a lot of that side of the world.
100%.
So I'm like, oh, dude, I play songs.
I got a business.
But I had no idea what I was doing. You know. And I'm thinking, I just play songs and get on the radio, and then you get a tour bus, and you know all this stuff. But I wish that maybe they do at like Belmont and like music school. I don't know, they might do this, but I wish there was more that we were doing to let artists know how to run their business.
100%. And
you know what I mean?
I think everybody needs a little bit of that school, because I have so many artists that call me and they're like, dude, like, I put this song out, I made this money, and I got a boat. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. But like, you could have invested that in
why did you do that?
In multiple areas of your business. And I think too, like, we have these things in Nashville called business managers. And I think that's who takes care of your money. I wish when you got with them, they would just be more honest and just be like, hey, bro, if you do this, this is what it's going to be. And if you do that, this is what it's going to be. And this is what here's your budget for the year, and this is what you're going to end up with. And how to navigate that life and know, I mean, in today's market, what streams are actually making you. Like, seeing where that money's coming from and knowing that Meta pays this and YouTube pays that.
It's coming from all different. I mean, he's helping me learn. They're helping me learn, you know, and I went with Becky. Becky Harris is my girl now too. So she's helped me so much and navigating that, you know, world. And I just kind of show up honest with my hat in the hand on some. Like, dude, this might be a dumb question, you know what I mean? But
no question's dumb.
I don't know this, you know, or whatever. So they've really helped me navigate that. But you're right, man. It's like also in the beginning, dude, when you have a label, right? That if you don't realize that's a bank.
100%. That's all it is.
That's
these
a
days.
bank that has the key to the radio. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And they'll help you get to where you need to go. But like, it's a loan, you know. And dude, if you're 20-something years old and you get signed a big record deal, and they're like, well, yeah, dude, you want to take a bus on radio tour? Sure, go ahead. You want to take? Yeah, we'll get you a private plane. No one, no matter what. Yeah. What do you need? I only need to stay in suites and fly first class. All right, no problem. Then at the end of it, you go, how do I owe you?
How do I keep this deal? Because I'm in debt to you, 500 grand.
I think my great grandkids are going to have to wash dishes back here. Like,
yeah, and I think that was how the old systems were all set up. You know, at a record company, you would come in, and a good deal, like my first deal was a 16-point deal, and be like, okay, so sorry, this is probably going to get real heady for everybody, but you would sign this 16-point deal. And I didn't learn this till later on. I became an independent artist, but they call them points to make them feel good, but it's just a percentage, right? Yeah. And so you get, hey dude, of your 100%, we're going to pay for this master, $5 to $10 grand, whatever we pay the producer, but we own now 84% of that master.
Which is nuts.
Which is crazy, right? And then
go put in all the work and you get 16%.
Yeah, and they have a lot of people to pay. I get it. Like sending a song to radio is very expensive.
Right, it ain't cheap.
And a radio, they have to. I mean, a label, they have to hire great people. I'm not saying that it's all just a bank, but they have to hire great people. It's expensive to run it. But at the end of the deal, if you're the artist, you got 16 points, and then they come to you and say, okay, you need a producer. That producer gets 4, not of theirs, of yours. Yeah. So you're down to 12.
Yeah.
And then everything that you're putting on their books, you can only pay back at a 12% rate because that's all you own. So you're taking, they're keeping their 84 first. And then you're taking then you're like, okay, here's my 12%, I'm slowly trying to pay this $100 grand back that you paid for the album. But I really have to make, what is that? $1 million to pay back $100 grand or whatever. Yeah. So it's just the way they've set these up is for them to be successful.
Right.
And I really think with the streaming, all these things coming out, the business is really going to change to artists' favor a little more because you can't do that as a label anymore.
We were talking about that, right? Like,
yeah,
it's old. It's almost like Netflix and Blockbuster.
It's crazy.
Right.
You see, Netflix is going to start signing artists.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I read this thing though. It's not out yet, but I mean, it's out, but they haven't started yet. But yeah, it's like, and yeah, to go back a little bit on the bank thing. Yeah, no, there's a lot of people working there, radio teams. There's a lot of great people. I didn't mean just to say like the label is just a bank. They work their ass off. I loved my radio team, dude. We were family. You know what I mean? Chris Lacey over there was always great. Espo, everybody there. But I just mean like, and brass tacks, break it down to easy math. You know what I mean? Like if an artist could just have that kind of a mindset going into it and realize, yeah, man, we're all connected and we're working for the same dream here, right? But we're also meant to be good partners. You know what I mean?
Totally, 100%.
And I think it's easy. And dude, dude, how fast was it? So all of a sudden it's slow. She's somebody's daughter, starts taking off, and you're like, hey, Drew, you're here, you're there, you're this, you're that. But here's this guy's taking care of it for you. Here's that, and it's all great, but really hard for you to focus on. Well, where's that money going that was here? Or where that, you know what I mean? Or whatever.
And that's why you hope you have a good team to take care of it.
I'm just happy money's coming in now.
That's why you have a great business manager. And that's why, to watch that stuff. But yeah, man, I don't know. I wish that, I'm glad to see artists being more open with mental health, especially the guy artists. I think that stigma is starting to kind of die down of men not feeling like men to express themselves. You know what I mean? Or to just lean on somebody to go, hey, man, I'm struggling a little bit. So it's great to see that in the community talking, and it's good to see that with the newer artists. I think newer artists need to see guys artists that they've heard on the radio or into their eyes, God, man, how do I get to that point? It's good for them to know like, hey man, we're still fighting too, dude.
Everybody is.
You're doing it. Everybody's fighting it. It's really good for the mental health conversation to be going around.
I agree. And I think we all need more of that. And dude, I just really appreciate you allow me to come on here and share my story.
You were one of the first people. I thought I literally told those guys because your story, dude, and just the timing of it with COVID happening and all that. I wanted to talk to you, spend time with you, but also get your story out, man, to let people know that no matter what you're doing, dude, if you're building a concrete business, you want to build pools or you want to move to Nashville and chase this crazy dream, you got one life on it.
That's 100%.
God, there's no redo.
There's no redo.
Worst they can tell you. When you're calling the high schools, no.
That's right.
But it's not the worst they can do.
Before we wrap things up on this, kind of a little tradition thing on ending was we always feel like it's important for all of us because we built our generation on the shoulders of our fathers, and our mothers. And then now with your story, man, and being able to look back on, 10 years of your life, right? And what would you tell a generation coming up of something you've learned through the ups and downs, that you think would help leave them with something that they could help build?
Yeah, I think trust your gut, even when people tell you you're crazy. Yeah. Like what we were talking about through this whole podcast, like take the chance. If you think the song is it, like go cut that song. Yeah. Don't listen to all the opinions around you and, be like, hey, somebody says it's not great. You believe in it. Hey, believe in, do what you believe in. And also like, don't have a plan B. Mm-hmm. And I think if you don't have a plan B, you're going to rely on music so much that you're like, I'm going to be here till it works.
Yeah, plan A's got to work.
Plan A's got to work.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you can't.
so
I
much
met
truth
so
to
many
that.
friends along the way that had a plan B and they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you gotta love it. You gotta put your eggs in this basket and go for it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that
man.
plan B comes with a lot of regret if you don't give it plan A everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
To the almost bitter end.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, brother, anything, what do you got going on this year touring wise? Let's plug.
Man, we're just right now, we're going to have an album come out this year.
Let's
so
go.
that's,
you know, around date yet wise or anything?
we're hoping around June is
Okay,
kind of
cool.
the plan. And we're writing, recording, and you know how long of a process that is. And we're just got to have it all turned in by a certain time. So right now it's just grindstone that. And obviously after the album comes out, we'll be touring pretty heavily.
Nice. Are you on any tours coming?
Not right now. Right now, we're just kind of focused on, we did that last year. We're hoping to do our own headline stuff this year and
That's awesome.
really try to see what we can do. Hopefully people that show up.
Where can people follow you on it? Let them know tour
Yeah,
dates.
DrewBaldridgeMusic.com, but also Drew Baldridge Music on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We post all our tour dates on there, and give us a follow and check it all out.
Awesome, buddy. Well, I love you so much.
Hey, love
man.
you,
Congrats
bro.
on
Thank
everything,
you.
buddy.
Thank you, guys.
man.
Dude, great to
Appreciate
see
it,
you.
Drew.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for watching Offstage America. See y'all next time.
That was great. Thanks, guys.